Hello everyone, today I finally bring you coverage of Burberry's Fall 2012 makeup, or as they call it, Autumn to Winter. Now I'm going to start with the foundation because I have been receiving lots of questions about the new Velvet Foundation in Trench. I have it in number 206. So this is their long wearing fluid foundation, and I have their sheer foundation, the very first one that they launched with the line. And as you can see, the sheer has a glossy finish to the packaging, whereas the Velvet has a matte finish. What's nice is that they both lock, so you can turn the top and you will see that you can't pump the foundation, so that's great for traveling. And I actually like that it's made out of plastic, again, easier to travel with, to throw in a bag. And between the two, I definitely prefer the Velvet. In fact, I like the Velvet so much that it's one of my top 3 liquid foundations. Now, my holy grail liquid foundation, which would be the Lancome Tint Idole Ultra 24 Hour in currently 320 Bisque. That's the perfect match for me right now. This is more warm, so it has a stronger yellow base, which is great for my skin tone because I'm very yellow, very golden, so this is wonderful. But the number 206 in Trench is slightly lighter, so this is going to be even better as my tan fades. It's a little bit more neutral, a little bit more pink than my Lancome foundation, but that's okay because once it gets around to mixing in with the oils on my face, it really warms up better than I thought it would. So here is a color contrast. As you can see already, just on the back of my very tan hand, you can tell that the Lancome one at the top is significantly darker than the Burberry foundation down below. And again, this is the Velvet. Now, in comparison, the Trench 5 color is here. This is my first color. This is my winter color, actually. I really like wearing this particular foundation during the winter when I am more pale. And even this is more yellow. But 207, which is one shade up from 206 in the Velvet, is really, really dark and very orange. It looks like I'm wearing way too much bronzer and all over my face. So I had to go with the 206. So this is the regular sheer foundation in Trench 05. So this is also a color that I could still get away with wearing around the center of my face so long as I'm wearing contour or bronzer. I love all 3. I just think that this particular sheer cover foundation is better during the winter for my skin because it's more moisturizing. So I hope that review was somewhat helpful. The Burberry Velvet Foundation is one of the newer foundations for this particular season. The other new foundation is the YSL Tint Touche Éclat, which is based after their famous highlighter. Between these 2 new foundations, I definitely prefer the Velvet finish, just because the Velvet foundation is medium to full coverage. This one by YSL is more of a sheer to medium tinted moisturizer style coverage, so it just depends on what you like for your skin. This is a much better range, except B40, which is actually meant for their warmer complexions, is still pretty neutral. It's still a lot more pink than I wanted it to be. So I think overall most people will find the Velvet foundation more versatile. If you only use one pump of this, you still get really decent coverage. It's more along the lines of between sheer and medium, but it's a great color and a great finish. This one definitely outlasts the YSL foundation. So between the 2, again, I prefer the new Burberry foundation. So I swatched all of these with the applicators, and the MAC one I swatched with my ring finger. So as you can see, it's a lot different on the skin. It is much brighter, and the mulberry actually looks to be more of a berry tinged brown. The sable is really dark compared to the almond, which on my eyes, it's in my crease. It looks a lot darker. So these colors are really beautiful, very neutral, and actually I think mulberry looks the best with this Burberry eyeshadow in Rosewood. Now Rosewood is actually one of my least favorite Burberry eyeshadows, but a lot of people really like this one. On my skin tone, it just doesn't do as much for me, but it is a silvery, purpley, complex mauve, and it works really well with mulberry if you wanted to pair those 2 together. I'm also wearing a permanent blush. This is number 4 Peony. It's just a light, soft pink. I didn't want to go too crazy with the blush because the model's not wearing very much. But for my lip color, I combined two, and I really like Burberry lipsticks because I feel like they make my lips look fuller without having to wear any liner. There's no gloss. It's just the natural effect of the lipstick. So I combined a bright pink with a little bit of copper. This little sample lipstick was actually provided by the Glossy box. So I really love the way the lip came together, and it's very wearable. But I think overall this is a really great, easy neutral look to wear, and Burberry eyeshadows are my favorite. They are the best single eyeshadows that I own, and I wear almond again all the time. And so to briefly recap, I didn't purchase any of the lipsticks from this collection, but I just used what I had from the permanent range. And as much as I like the original foundation for the winter, the new Velvet is definitely my go-to for this season. And again, if your foundation preferences are like mine, you will also like the Burberry better than the YSL. So I really wanted to love this foundation. I just love the Burberry so much more. And before we jump into the tutorial, I just wanted to explain that, again, I filmed this video first because the Armani Fall collection is repeats of the same products. The Burberry at least had a brand new foundation, so I felt more obligated to review this product first. So the Armani review will actually come next week. And again, about my nails, this is not a regular nail polish. This is a gel manicure in color number 31. I had it done at a salon and it lasts really long. I do love it, and I am going to get them fixed today. So I hope you guys enjoy the new farther back angle of the review and the close-up of the tutorial. Now let's get started. So as usual, we're going to start with my Burberry foundation. I patted one pump of foundation across my entire face, and I'm just going to tap it in with the Beauty Blender. And I'm looking down because I'm looking at my external monitor and my mirror to make sure I can see what I'm doing. I'm no longer using a camcorder. I'm using my DSLR, which is a Canon 7D. And that means I have no viewfinder from this side anymore, so I can't stare directly at the camera and see what I'm doing. I have to look somewhere else to make sure I'm still in the frame. So that completes my foundation for the day. Now obviously it does look a little light on camera, but it's going to warm up. It oxidizes with the skin's natural oils, so it turns a little darker. Again, the next shade up, which was 207, was too dark for me, so now I'm just going to apply some concealer. So now to top off my complexion, before we get into any of the color, I'm going to use a powder to set using a flat top brush. Now for a bit of contour to give more color to the skin as well as blend in the outer edges of the foundation. I'm just going to take my favorite Dolce & Gabbana, the Tan Blush. And this is technically a blush, but it works as a contour for me. I was a little too dark earlier this summer to wear this, so I had to wear more of a bronzer style look. But I just think this is more infinitely natural for a contour. It just makes my face look slimmer. This one is definitely worth the money. And I'm using the Shiimura 20H pony brush. Now of course we can't forget the brows. The model has really dark brown eyebrows in this particular video, but I'm just going to use a slightly more ashy brown and go with that instead. So I'm just going to trace the bottom of my brow, and now I'm going to go ahead and fill in all the sparse spots. I do have some bald spots in my eyebrows. They're still growing out from reshaping them, so I will go ahead and fill those in. And now I'm going to take my MAC Coquette eyeshadow with my MAC 208 eyebrow brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the brow and make it a deeper color. Then I'm going to take a spoolie and blend out the front of the brow so that it looks more natural. So first I'm going to use a cream base. This is just going to help our eyeshadows last longer. This is Dark Sable, and I'm using my 10F Kolinsky by Shiimura. I'm just going to pat this on the lid, taking it up to the crease. Make it the deepest at the lash line if possible. That's why using a flat-edged brush like this really helps and makes the job easier. Again, the model's actually not wearing too much eyeshadow, so I'm going to keep it simple but still take up a lot of eye space just to imitate the style of look used on her. I'm going to crisp up the edge a little bit. Don't worry about the tail because we're going to blend that out. Looking down at a mirror, I'm going to drag the color along the outer half of my lower lash line. Now I'm going to take Almond with my Sephora blending brush, and I'm going to place this just above the sable, the dark sable, into the crease. So now I'm going to take this tiny Sigma blending brush, and though it looks small, it does a great job of blending out edges. Just remember, the more you blend, the better it will look, and blending is all about patience. So just feather away at the edge only. You don't want to feather out any more eyeshadow, because then you would just have to reapply. Now I'm going back in with my Kolinsky and darkening up that corner, blending out the color with the edge of my brush. Now we're going to take Pale Barley, and using the applicator, I'm just going to pop it into the inner corner. Earlier this summer, I actually used to wear this color as an eyebrow highlight. This worked beautifully under the eyebrow, so if you're around NC 40, definitely give this one a try. Now last but not least is Mulberry. Because this shade wasn't actually used in the ad campaign, I'm just going to squish it in as a transition color between Pale Barley and the dark sable. And because it has such a nice warm undertone, I think it fits in really well in the brown family. Now for the liner, a lot of you guys asked me for a close-up version of the liner that I wore in my last video, so I'm going to show you that today. I'm using my Smashbox angled brush, and first I'm just going to set down my liner. So as usual, I'm going to give it a generous wing, but I'm going to take it out just a notch further than I usually would. Then I'm going to dip back into the product, picking up more liner, and angling the brush right at the edge parallel to the liner that you already applied in the corner of your eye. So the brush's bristles should be straight along with the liner, and you're basically going to play connect the dots. So there's one line, you're just extending the liner out. And then now bringing it down to the lower lash. Stare into a mirror, open your eyes wide. Then bring the liner into the tear duct. Now it's time to line the rest. Bring that outer corner really low, and then go back and shade in the waterline. You want the liner to be thinnest in the waterline in the center of the eye. And we will finish up with the rest of the face. And that's the final look. Now, I do apologize for the struggle it was to film this. I think the last time I wore the eyeliner, it looked a little better, but it's so hard to film this particular eyeliner technique. And I hate to say this, but I truly feel that with this particular technique, at least, practice makes perfect in every sense of the word. This is not something that you can just look at and watch someone else do. You have to figure out what shape works best for your eyes and for your entire face. You know, you have to really frame the eyeliner and then make sure you get right around the water lines, and it's just all minute details that you need to work out with practice. But before we zoom back out, I wanted to go ahead and finish up the lips and the blush. So we'll start with the blush. I'm going to use Peony on my Bobbi Brown blush brush, and I'm just going to pat it up the cheekbone. The model isn't wearing much blush, so I'm going to keep it nice and simple right along the tops to blend in with the Dolce & Gabbana powder. Now for the lips, the model was wearing a slightly nudie brown pink. There's 3 lipsticks for fall, but I don't have any of them, so I'm actually going to mix 2 lip mists. In the ad campaign, they actually used lip covers, which are their more full coverage regular line of lipsticks. The lip mists are supposed to have less coverage, but I actually like these better because they feel more like a lipstick balm. So I'm going to mix Feather with a little bit of Copper right in the center of the lips to get a really nice, slightly brown toned pink. And at least with my Burberry shades, this is the closest that I can get to the color that she's wearing in the ad campaign. And I think this is not a bad color combination anyway, because it tones down the brightness of the feather, and then the brown of the copper looks less noticeable. So it's just a really nice glossy looking lip. So I really love this combo. And now the makeup is fully complete. So you get a top to bottom full look. I know when it's super close up it's uncomfortable and you know it's just difficult because my camera is set at 50 mm, which means I have to set the camera a lot farther back. So going from in and out is really difficult and it takes me so much longer to film. But I'm glad that a lot of you guys are enjoying the better quality. I can't film in HD. Well, I am filming in HD, but I can't upload my video file in HD until later this year because my poor baby of a computer is 5 years old, almost 5 years old I think, maybe even more, you know, to be honest I'm not quite sure, but it's around that time frame and I definitely need to replace her. She needs to be retired, but I won't be able to do that until later this year because I already spent so much money on the equipment. So thank you guys for all your support. It really means a lot because that's what keeps this channel going. Thank you for your interest in Burberry makeup, and I will try to cover more fall collections. My Armani again is next, and I just wanted to film the Burberry one first because there was a lot more interest in the products. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye!